but like it spoke about like how like the whole idea was trying to get your opponent angry because like it just disturbs them from their game, and where the guy who wins is usually the guy like who is most in control of their emotions. They didn't have to get so rah-rahed up. It's like almost like have more the approach of the silent killer, that kind of way. Like you're an assassin, but you're like so calm and steady, no one can see you coming. And like that's a kind of like that's a cool way to look, because I understand like we want to get pumped up and we love that pump up. We love that like I want to feel a little moment until the race isn't over. I can act like I'm McGregor because anything is possible until then, right? But like do it in a steady, calm way if you know what I mean.
Mm. David, you are an expert of the course itself, and you've paced the course. You know the course by itself. We know we can talk to it in kind of three thirds, basically. The first third is predominantly a climb, steady climb, pretty much through Castleknock and out to the far side, and a couple of hills thrown in for good measure in between up to the half. Can we talk about the course with you, and have you any tips for people or key checkpoints they should look out to? And again, about that keeping it steady and understanding the terrain, understanding the course so they know what they're doing and when.
Yeah. So obviously, first of all, like, like know the sort of the somewhat the lay of the land. So obviously you have your Dublin map, right? And you can kind of get an idea, like if you're looking at Dublin, you can kind of say, okay, at this mile I'm in the Phoenix Park, at this mile I'm coming out of the Phoenix Park, I'm here at halfway, and at 20 miles at 15 miles, 20 miles. So kind of have an idea of like almost where you are, because like sometimes, like, yes, we perceive the distance of something through like the mile markers, but at the end of the day, we actually probably more perceive it in terms of where we actually are in the city. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like just that, and knowing that can kind of be like, okay, yes, I might be only at mile 20, but I'm only here, and then I'm going to come around here into UCC, and then I'm swinging home. Like, so have an idea of that, right? And then like figure out, like, I'm sure everyone has somebody they know who's ran Dublin before, and if they haven't ran it themselves. And so go back to your Strava and look at the elevation. Just look at the previous map, and that will show you exactly where all the climbs are coming in at. And then, like, I suppose, like, as you see, like, we're saying, yeah, it's kind of pulling up to the Phoenix Park and pulling through. And then when you get out of the Phoenix Park, you sort of, you're dropping back down as if you're going Chapel Lizard direction, but then you come back into the park, you're dropping down. And then you come out of the park and you're passing like kind of that Denore Harriers around that area, right?
Yeah.
And then you go left over the bridge there, and then you meet this hill. Like, what do you like? Is that about 10 miles? Is it? I think.
Yeah. Dan,
Yeah.
it's around 10 mile park. It's the one that broke me the first time I did it. It's a horrible hill.
No, it's horrible. It's an absolute stinger, right? So what I would say to you there is, don't panic if you just kind of get a wobble. Don't panic if you get a wobble there. And also, don't be stubborn to the hill, right? So don't be like looking at
I'll
your
keep
pace.
my pace.
Yeah, no, don't do that, because like you got to run the course. Like I always say, like, somebody says, "Oh, I'm going to run the marathon. I'm going to run 5 minute per K." I said, you're not going to run 5 minute per K for every K of the marathon, right? Like, so like you've got to be flexible, like that. And also you got to read your energy. You got to be like, ask yourself when you're pushing up this hill, okay, like realistically now, ask yourself, like, are you good when you come off this hill to keep running on and still have over halfway to go? Like, just ask yourself that, like, because at the end of the day, you should, you know that, like, and take moments of breathers. Like in the marathon, you can go through a lot. Like, you can go through tired patches, where you're just not feeling good, but then you come around again. And definitely a big lesson, I've learned is like, you can't be afraid to back off, right? Like you can't be afraid to like pull back just to get a bit of rhythm, instead of like, almost like when you start tiring, then you almost start trying to keep applying the pressure for fear more comes off. But the minute you start applying more pressure when you're tired, it's just going to get slower and slower and slower. Like